Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast Doomsday Prepping series on my channel. We are prepping for Doomsday. Gus, you know when it's coming. Gus knows Doomsday's coming someday. And so I bought a freeze dryer machine, and what I want to do is start making my own MREs or emergency rations. I don't know what you call them. But basically, now that I have a freeze dryer, I can take all this food, make all these meals, freeze dry them in the Harvest Right machine. I can separate them in portions, and then I can put them in their own Mylar bags and vacuum seal them, and they can store on the shelf if they're completely dry and they're done right. You can store on the shelf for like 25 years. And it's gonna be food that I like to make, that I like to eat. And so today we're gonna make three things. We're gonna make my poverty pasta, and if you've seen my channel before, this is a very hearty elbow noodle pasta that contains tomato soup, tomatoes, and a whole bunch of other crazy ingredients, cheese whiz. It's goulash for all intents and purposes. I've got an entire pot of ground beef because I have so much left in my freezer from the cow. Tortellini Alfredo with shrimp for the next one. And then we're gonna do my famous farty meatballs with egg noodles. And I call them farty meatballs because they make you fart like nobody. My wife loves them. She absolutely loves them. She hates them. But it's a hearty meal. So I'm creating 3 hearty meals, and then all the beef that I have left over, I'm going to actually try to freeze dry it and put it away for single servings that we can use, because if you freeze beef too long, it gets freezer burnt and it's not really good. So I'm trying to get some of this beef out of the freezer so it doesn't go bad as well. And I have so much in here. So I've got a griddle outside, we're gonna make some meatballs, and we're gonna fry some beef, and we're gonna get it ready. So let's do it. Now we just tidy up a little bit, and we're gonna start cooking the rest of the beef. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 6. I have 6 pounds more of ground beef, which is gonna be for the next recipe, which is my huge pot of poverty pasta or goulash or whatever you wanna call it. The rest I'm gonna use, so for my goulash, I'm gonna use 4 pounds as well. Yeah, for my goulash, I'm gonna use 4 pounds, and the other 2 pounds I'm just gonna fry up, and I'm gonna just drain them and see what happens when I freeze dry that, just for future use. Instead of freezing it, I want to freeze dry it and then store it in a dry container. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this out to the griddle. We're gonna cook it up real nice. Three bags of these bad boys. Elbow noodles. In a minute. Okay, here we go. Let's put all the soups in. Don't be like that. Can you get me the ketchup, please, and the barbecue sauce? Oh yeah.
Looks like throw up.
Tastes amazing. You don't know anything.
What even is it?
It's called goulash. You don't have to eat it unless the end of the world's happening. And then I promise you, you're gonna love me for making the goulash, end of the world goulash.
Okay, well, if I was starving, I would eat it.
That's the point. Highly caloric, very cheap to make-ish, and delicious if you're starving. Not gonna ignore the fact that putting ketchup and barbecue sauce, tomato stuff inside this doesn't look gross. I'm not gonna ignore that fact. But I'm here to tell you, stuff is effing delicious. Okay, it's delicious. And again, imagine yourself post-apocalyptic, right? You're living in a bunker or you're traveling around the world looking for food. And you stumble upon my basement. For whatever reason I'm gone, I'm not here, but I left all this. And all there's left is goulash. I promise you that if you open up a pack of this, rehydrate it properly, and you eat it, you're gonna be like, thank the heavens above for this amazing, amazing apocalypse goulash. And I'll be from the heavens saying, you're welcome. You're welcome, stranger who found my stash. Guys, you can hate all you want. This stuff is amazing. What are you laughing at? Cheese with me, wife.
On my way, dog.
Cheese with me. Melting that cheese whiz into it. Make sure it's all spread around nice. Look, I don't know the caloric intake of this thing, but I promise you it's high. Okay, carbs and tomatoes and sugar and meat. I don't know how much this is gonna fit. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fill at least 4 trays of this stuff. So let's see how it works. I'm also hyper aware that this is probably gonna take 30 hours to freeze dry. But what I'm gonna do is obviously put it in the freezer first, deep freeze it. So that'll help the process go a little faster. So that's what we're gonna do. Tray 1 has 2806 grams. I need a piece of paper. 2657, 2637, 2809. Follow up. This is tray 5. Holy smokes! Lots in here. Nice. Yeah, that's perfect. That one's at 2456. There we go, 5 trays. That's 3 bags of elbow noodles, 2 big giant cans of tomatoes, 5 cans of Campbell's tomato soup or whatever tomato soup you want, about, I don't know, a cup of ketchup, half a cup of barbecue sauce, and about a cup and a half of cheese whiz. Salt and pepper and spices all around the meat and stuff like that. Let's deep freeze this and we'll put it in the freeze dryer and see what comes out afterwards. Here we go, frozen freaking solid. We're gonna throw those in the freeze dryer and see what happens. Took 40 hours and 10 minutes to dry this. We want to make sure it's all dry, so I got this thing. Not sure if this is right, but I have it set on wood. It's obviously a moisture meter. I'm gonna try all 3: the paper, wall, and wood, to see if there's any moisture. Can't see those numbers, I don't think, but nothing in there. Nothing in there. Let's change it to paper, wall. But I think wood's the most. Yeah, nothing. I'm trying the thickest parts of these to make sure there's no moisture in them. Oh, here's a nice thick part. Nothing. Shit's dry, yo. Oh, a little bit of moisture in there. It says there's moisture in there. Can't have any moisture, so we gotta do more dry time. I'm thinking 3 hours more dry time. We got this thing again. We're gonna test it. We've had it drying for about an hour and a half. Just vented it. Now let's see. Zero. That's what I like to see. We have the weights from pre-drying, and now we're gonna see what they are after drying. And its weight was 2806. Now it's 1403. Holy smokes! 1403 was 2657. Now it's 1351. 1289. That makes sense. So basically, I'm not sure how I didn't have the tray dividers, and so I guess what I can do is do some math, which I suck at, but basically weigh each part before I put it in the Mylar bag, and then I know and then we have to figure out the reconstitution for the water, I guess, right? Or you kind of just eyeball it. In the end times, I don't think it's really going to matter. You're going to say add this much, just add a little bit. If you need a little bit more, add a little bit more, right? I think that's going to work. But we're going to package all this up. I'm not sure what I want to do, if I want to put it in Mylar and vacuum seal it, or put it in Mylar and throw an oxygenator in it. I'm not sure what's better. I think I'm gonna put an oxygenator in it because it's super dry, and I'm gonna keep an eye on it, and we're gonna open one up, and then we're gonna rehydrate it and see what it tastes like. So I'm gonna put in because we're a family, so I think one bag, if I fill that up nicely and put an oxygenator in it, will give me enough to feed my family for a meal. And I think each one of these can probably put three bags for one tray, I think. I also have this nifty gadget here. I can break it up a little bit and then use this to pop it in the bag. There. So we can make sure we know what we're weighing every time. So let's see how we're gonna do this. Do we just break it up a little bit? What do we do? I don't even know what the point of taking the weight after was. So, super easy to break up. All right, got these Harvest Right ones. Throw that in there. It's about a meal. I think that'll feed at least 2 people. So we're gonna do Apocalypse Ghoulash, May 24. So we have that. And the weight. I'm gonna zero out a bag. 173 grams. Under 73 grams. There we go. That's our first one. I'm very excited. I might even put it through the sealer and still seal it a little bit more. There we go, I got my tester, and this is how much I made. One big batch of Apocalypse Ghoulash. Now we're gonna make sure everything's completely sealed, and we're gonna load it in here real nice. Each one of these is around 200 grams. I don't know the caloric value. I suppose I could have done that if I wrote down every ingredient and what the calories were, but I didn't do that, so. This one's a little low, 173. Now I'm wondering if it's better to vacuum seal these bags, but it is pretty dry, and I put an oxygenator in each one, so I think that'll be enough, but you never know, right? So like, I don't know. I'm gonna do a little bit more research into that. I'm gonna check these in a few months. Every other month I'm gonna check them to see if, take one out random, do some testing, make sure they're still delicious, still good to go. And you can really squish those in there, not too tight. You don't wanna break the bags or rip them. So there we go. Lots of food. So that right there is enough food to last my family easily 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 packs, depending on the severity of the emergency, that's a good meal a day. So if I have a lot and I say 2 of these, this should last me easily a week for my family if this is all we had. And it's not gonna be all we have, but this is one thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna box these up, label the boxes, and then make sure I come back, stack them properly, and then come back and do some testing later. But for now, let's go rehydrate this bad boy right here. All right, here we go. So I got a cup of hot water, a little over a cup just in case. I got a bowl here, and I got my tester. This is a lot, actually. I'm realizing 200 grams is quite a lot. It's gonna be fill this bowl, I think, easily. Holy smokes. You're all in there. Let's hydrate it. A little less than a cup, just to be safe. A little less than a cup. And we're gonna that's hot water. Should probably cover it. I'm gonna keep shuffling around, let it absorb all the stuff down below it. I'm gonna use the rest of this. Let's go. Ooh, might be too sloppy, but I don't know. That's really a bad thing. It sucks up the moisture real fast. Let it sit for a minute. Let's let it sit. All right, let's take a look here. Still steaming. There's still some hard parts in there. Let me just break it up. I think I need a little bit more water. I think the trick is just keep stirring it, make sure all the parts are getting nice and wet that need to get wet. Yeah, that was at least a cup and a half of water for 200 grams. I'm gonna adjust, I'm gonna make adjustments. Let's give it a test. It tastes really good. Wow, I'm so impressed. Little bits of tomato. Oh, it's really good. We're eating good at the end of the world, yo. Okay, like seriously, like if it's an emergency situation, I think a lot of people when they do their videos on these things, here. I think a lot of people when they do their videos on these, they're just like, well, it's okay, I guess. Yo, listen to me. It's the end of the world, or you're in a serious emergency situation. As long as it's not rotten, okay, you're good. You can eat this shit dry. But I'm telling you, it's good. There's some chewy bits, but I just think I just need more water. I'm gonna go with 1 3/4 cup of water for every 200 grams of this. So I'm gonna adjust that on the packages just so I know ahead of time. But again, in the end, you put what you need in and you add more if you need it. This is amazing. I'm impressed. I'm now hooked on freeze dry. Yeah! This is me at the end of the world. Ready? It's my end of the world eating food dance. There's like explosions behind you, so zombies. Doesn't matter. I got my apocalypse goulash, and it's good. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Next recipe is gonna be the farty meatballs, which is an egg noodle with a meatball and sauce. See how long it takes to freeze dry. I pre-froze this and it still took 30 hours. I wonder if pre-freezing actually does anything. So I'm gonna try the next one without pre-freezing it. Everybody says to do that, but it doesn't matter. It just says it saves time and energy, but it took 30 hours. So the next one is a really, really, really like liquidy thing. So we'll see. The next one after that is gonna be, I think the noodle, whatever you call those things, stuffed pasta with shrimp and sauce, and we'll see how that goes. So follow me for more recipes because this is gonna be fun.